be a good movie.
Nicki makes a lot of cash. Not as much as Michael Dell. Not quite. Not as much. But that's okay. But Nicki
is this entire situation going all the way over Nicki Minaj's brain and her spidey senses as the whole room just laughed at her and she thinks they're laughing with her after Trump made a financial jab at her and her financial situation currently, after being the only Mexican woman in the room?
Nicki Minaj got a gold card. Is that a citizenship card that she got? Did you guys see that? Is this the gold membership card, the gold citizenship card? Does that mean she's a citizen? United States of America, isn't it the whole thing that you can pay to get entry into the U.S. and you get a gold card and then you become a citizen, right? Nicki Minaj has received Donald Trump's gold card, which grants her U.S. residency. There you go. Told ya. I told you. I told you. She got a gold card, a citizenship card. She has received the gold card, which grants her U.S. residency.
Hello. Well, I don't know what to say, but I will say that I am probably the president's #1 fan. And that's not going to change. And the hate or what people have to say, it does not affect me at all. It actually motivates me to support him more. And it's going to motivate all of us to support him more. We're not going to let them get away with bullying him and, you know, the smear campaigns. It's not going to work, okay? He has a lot of force behind him, and God is protecting him. Amen?
Why are you here?
I'm here to stand up for immigrant rights. I'm here to stand up for humanity. We're seeing a clear violation of the Constitution every day, so I'm standing up with my immigrant community. We're all immigrants. We're all the sons of immigrants in this nation. You know, my ancestors showed up at Ellis Island. We're given a name. We're given citizenship. Why is it not the same now?
I just spoke to a man and he said, this isn't the way to do it. If I came into your house, you might feel a different way about it. That the Biden administration let in a lot of people that were dangerous and committed crimes, and now this administration is trying to correct that. He doesn't like some of the ways they're doing it, but it needs to be done.
The real criminals have always been in the White House. The real criminals have always been in Congress. These people are here to work. These people are here making our communities better. These are making our communities stronger. So we're here to protest their lack of action. All the people in this church, they're living real comfortable lives while children are dragged into concentration camps. So if we disturb their Sunday, oh no, nobody should have comfort right now while our immigrant communities are afraid to leave their houses.
When I explained to him that most of the people they're detaining have no criminal convictions and no criminal records, and that immigrants and undocumented people commit far less crime than native-born Americans, he said I was a biased journalist, because I presented him with facts.
It's really easy to ignore what's happening, so that's why we're here. We're here to hopefully change a few minds, hopefully to wake a few people up. I was encouraging people in there to be at Whipple with me later today, standing up for, you know, the community.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, and I hope you're doing okay. So guys, seriously, it's a topic I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. So today guys, we're going to be talking about we're going to be having like a deep dive into MAGA and the involvement of Nicki Minaj in all this MAGA stuff, or should we say like the MAGAization of Nicki Minaj, or the magnification of Nicki Minaj. Would that be better? Okay, so we're gonna also talk about like Don Lemon's arrest and his release, and the links it has to do with it. Guys, let me tell you something. Once Don Lemon got involved with the Nicki Minaj debacle with MAGA and everything, and when he got arrested, I instantly knew Nicki had something allegedly to do with it. I didn't need anyone to talk about it. I didn't need any news outlet to make links with it. I'm pretty much sure she went to Donald Trump, and I think she's picked up on the fact that the president is a little bit fond of her. It's like fond of her, like Donald Trump is fond of her. So she's picked up on that. She's picked up on the fact that like the president is fond of her, and she can go there and demand anything she wants to demand, and you'll be good. So guys, this is my thoughts and everything. We're just gonna watch a little bit of other people's opinions as well, and in between those opinions, I'm gonna give my thoughts on them. Yeah, so guys, anything, if you feel like having like anything you want to say in the comment section, please be free, but also be very respectful. Thank you.
Now, I know you guys have heard what happened to Don Lemon. He was arrested today. Don Lemon is being arrested for doing his job. You know what's really sad about this Don Lemon situation is that Nicki Minaj wanted this to happen. Nicki Minaj was coming after Don Lemon. Such a backstab. The fact that she was in Donald's ear She probably was like, oh, I want this Don Lemon guy. We need to get him. The way Don Lemon responds, because she's like, why are you doing this? This is some, as they say, crazy work. This is crazy work Nicki Minaj is doing. And we all know Don Lemon. He's one of the greatest journalists of our times, period. Doing great work, has been doing it for 30 years, was on CNN. And they fired him off some bullshit. And then he moved to the podcast space. He moved to the YouTube space. And I was part of him starting his podcasting because I was with him when he was campaigning for Kamala. He asked me, he said, hey man, how do you think I'm going to do? And I'm not on CNN no more. And you've been podcasting. How do you think I'm going to do? I said, Don, you're going to do great. You have freedom now. You're going to do a lot. I think you're going to be even much better. You're going to be able to say what you want. And along with your journalist background, you're also going to be able to really do a lot of stuff with the people and be close to the people. And yeah. And so the Don Lemon Show has gained a lot of traction. He's got so many followers and fans so quickly. And the work that he's doing, he's on the streets talking to the people. The man on the street thing is great. And that's like old school journalists. Yeah, that's old school journalism, man, that I appreciate. And that's why I've been on his show many times. And you see Joy Reid comes on. He has so many great guests that come on. It's just a lot of great thinkers and intellects that come on his show. And it's amazing. And Don is passionate about what he does. He cares about people. He cares about justice. He cares about equality among races, among, sexual preference, all of that, man. That's what he does, 100%. That's my brother from another mother. And I feel helpless because you go, what do you do now? All we can do is really hope for the best and keep it down in our thoughts. And we all I'm trying to keep in touch with him, sending him messages. So hopefully we see him return back. And that's what we want to see, because Don Lemon is a man of the people. And that's real talk. You don't have to agree with him all the time. But one thing I know is that Don always has good intention. It's no different. This is a society that everybody's sensitive about anything, especially this administration. They can't stand journalists, especially if it's not journalists that say things they want to hear, which is insanely crazy. All right. We should be able to agree to disagree on things. And it's just like comedy. Sometimes you got people that come in to comedy clubs just to be offended because you didn't say the jokes that they wanted to hear. Well, what the is the purpose of being a comedian if I can express my own opinions, And listen, I always say, if you don't like what I'm saying, stay out of the comedy club. Why are you here? In fact, you can be at the comedy club, but why not this? Why don't you vet it? Why don't you watch the comedian shit before you go to the comedy club and then go and see the person and see if you like him or not? Anyway, keep Don Lemon in your thoughts, and I have a positive feeling he's going to be fine, and he's going to be able to tell us what's going on, and keep him in your prayers too. All right, and let's hope for the best.
So guys, I do agree with him. I do agree with his opinion of what he just said now. I mean, before he even said it, I knew there was always going to be a link between Don Lemon getting arrested and me actually knowing that it probably is Nicki behind this. I do think there's this ego that Nicki has that, of course, I do understand where it can come from about patriarchy and anything. But in all honest truth, that's just how it is. Like, I don't know why she would want to use Don Lemon as a lesson and as a teachable moment for other people who are coming from her as well. Because, like, seriously, it's crazy to me. It's literally nuts. And what he did was investigative journalism. And do I see anything wrong with it? No. And to be fair, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know if you are mad or something, but I'm just going to say my piece. I'm sorry. I do have very huge problems with a pastor being an ICE agent. I'm so sorry. I do have a huge politics problem with. I say the thing is, politics of nowadays, and even in the days of old, I don't want any pastor to be a politician. Like, politics is just so messy. That's why Daniel had to pray 9 times, or is it 4 times a day? Apart from asking God for direction, there are things he probably did that he regretted. So, like, I don't want to even bring the Bible into it because sometimes a narrative of it can be very toxic. So yeah, I do agree, I do agree. And that's not to say Don Lemon is an angel whatsoever, but it's the truth. He's not an angel. He's had some misogynistic moments, yeah. He's had some misogynistic moments as well, and come to find out, I didn't even know he was married, I didn't know he was married to his partner. What's name, I don't know. I don't know he was married to his partner and everything. I didn't know he had a partner and he was married to the person. So yeah. There are many things you don't know about the person till you zoom into their lives, isn't it? And I hear about him every day. Yeah.
I've spent my entire career covering the news. I will not stop now. In fact, there is no more important time than right now, this very moment, for a free and independent media that shines a light on the truth and holds those in power accountable. Again, I will not stop now. I will not stop ever.
I need everyone to realize that just 2 weeks ago, Nicki Minaj called for Don Lemon to be arrested for being a sucker. Don obviously clocked her and said, weren't you an undocumented immigrant at some point? And then just yesterday, her and her bad press-ons were holding that bruised Orange's hand, where he gave her a golden ticket that said she can get whatever she wants. And this morning we wake up and Don Lemon has been arrested in LA for something he did in Minneapolis. Mind you, he was in LA to cover the Grammys. And as unjust as the United States has been past and present, it's really unheard of for us to be arresting journalists because, you know, the First Amendment. We also have to understand that Don Lemon is an independent journalist now, meaning he doesn't have a huge media company behind him like MS Now or CNN. So the only person fighting for his freedom right now, literally and financially, is himself and we the people.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. So the golden card is not just to claim some sort of citizenship, it's to also request for what you want. I don't know. So it all goes back to ego issues she's got. I mean, we all have ego issues, but she does also have like ego issues that can be quite dangerous. I mean, all egos are quite dangerous when they come into a bit of power. And it's so crazy that the first thing she has to do with her card is to arrest a man who is simply speaking the truth. Wow, that's just not. See, guys, you know what? Nicki has always been like obsessed with power. She's always been obsessed with power, and she's always called out men in power about how they misuse the power. And maybe Don Lemon being her first line of concern in terms of arresting and using the power of the gold card to do whatever she wants to do or meet whatever needs she thinks she needs to meet. And her, let's say, asking for Don Lemon's arrest is given something in the Bible, because guys, there was this particular story in the Bible about John the Baptist and a girl who danced and requested for him. Well, if you want to know about it, just go read the Bible. You know, it will help if you ask of the Holy Spirit's power. But if you really want to know what went on there, just go ask. That's what it's given. I mean, I don't know. But so the thing is, guys, I'm not only gonna focus on Nicki. I'm also gonna call out, let's say, there are other people as well, other rappers as well, that have been in the news, and I know they're secretly mega. People have said in the comment section that people like 50 Cent, Snoop Dogg, Kodak Black, and also, surprisingly, Mike Tyson do support Trump. I don't get it. Seriously, I don't get it. Why they will support such a man. I don't know. Like, is there something that is missing that we do not know about? But I'm sorry, I just can't. I know they might be all desperate to have more money and more connections in the world, but it always goes back to the phrase, not all good money is bad money. Not all money is good. Like, good money, like people say bad money is not money, and truly it's not money. Like, how far are you willing to go in order to strengthen your connections because you want you and your person or you and your generation to be good, but you're gonna have to mash on people's head to get there? Like, it's always been the cases of especially like rappers in the industry. And I think I'm also going to try to do a deep dive on 50 Cent. I think I'm also going to do that as well, because I see through him. Guys, she might be your favorite rapper, but with 50 Cent, I just see through him. There's just something about him that is not clicking, that I see through. I just see through him, and that's just how it is. I do.
Nicki makes a lot of cash. Not as much as Michael Dell. Not quite. Not as much, but that's okay. But Nicki makes
Is this entire situation going all the way over Nicki Minaj's brain and her spidey senses as the whole room just laughed at her and she thinks they're laughing with her after Trump made a financial jab at her and her financial situation currently, after being the only Mexican woman in the room?
If I was Don Lemon, the last thing I would have said on that podium after I got out of jail, these hoes don't be mad at Megan. These hoes mad at Megan's law. Then I would have just walked off.
You called for Don Lemon's arrest over his church stunt in Minneapolis. He's since called you racist, unhinged, homophobic, and out of your depth. Anything you'd like to say to Don Lemon?
Sucker, stop.
The absolutely best part is when Don Lemon told Megyn Kelly to tell her husband to stop staring at his husband and made him uncomfortable.
And by the way, Megan, let me just say something. Deal with your own house and tell your husband to stop looking at my husband across the room. It's weird. Okay? So I'll see you back here at...
I know it's messy. I know it's messy. But y'all, I cannot let this go. What is wrong with me? I mean, Don Lemon. I can't let it go. But Megan, I bet she is mad AF.
So we've all found out that Don Lemon and 3 other black journalists, Georgia Fort, Tryon Cruz, and Jamil Lundy, have been arrested and taken into custody by federal agents for doing their job, for reporting on a peaceful protest that took place in a church in Minnesota. As troubling, problematic, and triggering that is, my flabber is gasted that some of you are saying this is not America. I swear, this depth of selective amnesia should be criminal. Because what do you mean this is not America? This is America. This has been America. This is what America's been doing in other countries for decades and in America. Oh yeah, just because it happens to black people and brown people and, you know, white Americans don't get to witness this eyeball to eyeball like they're doing now, they're like so shocked. Like, where the hell have you been? The last 2 years are a perfect example. America armed, funded, and equally committed the genocide of over 200 Palestinian journalists through its proxy Israel. Why? Because its Palestinian journalists were doing their job, witnessing and reporting on a live-streamed Holocaust. But they could not afford to have these people alive, so they killed them. And I know that you guys did not care. When I say you guys, I mean those who are going, oh my God, it's not America. I know you did not care about it then, and you don't care about it now because you were ready to back the very people who made that atrocity possible, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Because it was okay when it was happening over there, and now that it's happening now, you're like, oh my God, but look at what Trump is doing. No. You see, Biden and Harris ran so that Trump could fly. Trump is only doing what America has been doing. Do you understand? The chickens have come home to freaking roost. And it's about time people wake up to this fact. The fact that they've tried this out on 4 black journalists. Oh, they will get to white journalists, don't you worry. But usually when the atrocities start, it starts against black people. And that's what you're seeing here. Trump and his administration are testing American soil to see how far they can get away with these atrocities by killing American citizens, desecrating the US Constitution, and violating human rights. So sure, keep on with this is not America, and the real America will show up.
I don't give a shit about Don Lemon's statement about his arrest. And do you know why? Because he shouldn't have to give a statement about his arrest because he shouldn't have been arrested in the first place. If this doesn't bother you, then you are not paying attention. 4 journalists and organizers were arrested for doing their fucking jobs, documenting power, and telling the truth, and refusing to look the other way. And the federal government is calling it a conspiracy. Not because they broke the law, but because they broke their silence. And that's the part that should make all of our stomachs drop. That's the record scratch. That's the moment in the party where the music stops and everybody in the room goes, wait, what the fuck just happened? Because let me be very real with y'all. When the state starts arresting journalists instead of investigating the people who killed 2 American citizens, we are no longer debating policy. We are watching authoritarianism stretch its legs. And let's not get it twisted. This is not a mistake. This is not a misstep. This is exactly what Donald Trump said that he was going to do. Criminalize protest, punish the press, redefine dissent as danger. The only difference between then and now is that some folks still want us to act shocked as if the stove isn't hot after it's already burned us twice. Okay? They are not going after nobody. They are going after names and names that are supposed to scare the rest of us into behaving. If they can do this to Don Lemon in handcuffs, they can put your favorite local reporter in them. They can do the same thing to Georgia Fort for documenting the truth. They can charge the girl on Instagram who goes live at a city council. They can drag organizers into federal court, and they can absolutely come for people with 2,000 followers who won't shut the fuck up. That's the point. And yes, we care about all of them, but I need to say something out loud real quick while we're pretending that it's not true before the dust settles. Black women, especially black women journalists like Georgia Fort, are always the first to be quietly forgotten. Not because they weren't brave, not because they didn't matter, but because people assume that they're not strong enough to carry it alone. And that the assumption is that a man's name has to be attached to the violence for us to care as black people. But we need to stop that bullshit. She cannot be lost in the shuffle of the black men who are also experiencing this. And here's the part where I stop explaining and start asking, what are we going to do? Not later, not after the next headline, but now. We have to share their work, not just your feelings. Say their names until the algorithm gets tired of you. Build a plan with the people that you trust when it comes down to your doorstep, because it will. And protect local journalists like they are on the front lines, because they are. And for the love of everything, please stop waiting on permission for you to give a shit. We have been here long before the state flexes, before the people freeze, before everybody says, I didn't think that it would get this far. It always gets this far, every fucking time. So I'm saying it plainly. This matters. This is serious. And if you don't feel the fire under you yet, it's not because the house isn't burning. It's because the smoke hasn't reached your room. So talk about it, argue about it, organize about it, but do not be silent, because silence is exactly what they're hoping that we choose. And silence equals death. And until y'all understand that, I'll wait.
This is exactly what I was talking about. Yeah, it's exactly what I was talking about. I would quite say I do agree with her. Even guys, I was even afraid to make this video because I was afraid that I was going to be silenced. Yeah, I was afraid I was going to be silenced, or I just pray nothing happens to this video, or it's not reprimanded, because it's true. Even when I heard that he was arrested, I do knew for a fact that it had nothing to do with criminal activity, but also had something strongly to do with what he had his opinions on MAGA and how he views the party. I just knew it was just concerning his very strong opinions on MAGA and what harm the party can seriously do to actually I'm sorry, guys, the whole world. Because, to be fair, I don't know how people still sit and support such men. I'm sorry. With politics, people also say, oh, it's not that deep. I think when people gaslight people to think the political party you follow is not that deep, I think you should run away from that person, because that person is good at gaslighting. When you say you're just going to vote for somebody, and when they ask you, you know this person thinks that way, why are you voting for that person? Guys, I can never be friends with someone who is MAGA. I don't care if you're black, you're Hispanic, you're Chinese, you're white. I don't care. I can never be friends with someone who is MAGA. And I don't care. Leave the religion out of it. I've always said it on my channel. That party does not care about Christianity. It never is about Jesus. And unfortunately, it will never be about Jesus. So let's just leave the Jesus out of sight. What MAGA preaches is white Christian nationalism. That's all. White Christian fucking nationalism. And white Christian nationalism is not nationalism. Guys, white Christian nationalism was a Christian. It's even very abusive to call it Christian nationalism. That stupid religion, I would just say white nationalism, that they want to rebrand as what as religious Christian. Please, there's really nothing as religious Christianity. I don't know, guys, if you're a Christian or not. Guys, in the Christian faith, we believe that Christianity is a relationship between you and the Holy Spirit, and Christianity will never be like a religion, and that is what people fail to fucking understand. It just never will be a religion. It never has been a religion, and it never will be a religion. Because I know it's very strange for me to talk about this, but that's just what it fucking is. That's what it fucking is. And the reason why many people fall prey to this religious rubbish, that is why it just hurts me, guys. But what MAGA is doing with the Christian faith hurts me, because they are kind of using the Christian faith to behave like this jihadist movement. I don't know about the jihadist movement, maybe I'm very wrong about it, but using it as a weapon to colonize, to fight, to cause destruction. No, I reject it. I just reject it. So guys, sincerely speaking, so I don't know. That's all I've got to say about the matter, seriously.
Former CNN anchor Don Lemon was arrested along with 3 others in connection with an anti-immigration enforcement protest that disrupted a service at a Minnesota church. Lemon was arrested by federal agents in Los Angeles, where he was preparing to cover the Grammy Awards. His lawyer says it's not yet clear what he is being charged with, and that he was covering the protest as a journalist. The U.S. Attorney General says Lemon was part of a, quote, coordinated attack on the St. Paul church, where one of the pastors also works for ICE.